This video is to help you prepare for the Unit 4 Cell Structure ISN check. Please make sure you have a completed table of contents on page 85. If you're missing anything from the table of contents, please hit pause to fill it in now. On page 86 is the cell structure vocabulary. And on page 87 is our first warm-up from December 1st. On page 88 is our lab. Is it a live lab? We looked at the characteristics of living things. And on page 89 was our concept map, listing those living thing characteristics. And on page 90 was the characteristics of life notes. We did the SAM activity, SAM alive, and also the notes on the back. On page 91 was the handout structure and function to tell the difference between the function and structure of an item or object. And page 92 was the overview of cells. On page 93 should be your draft of the planning for your city plan, so the solutions, and you should have the organelles filled in. And then on page 94 is your draft of your cell city. On page 95 is the structure and function of an animal on one side and a plant cell on the back. And on page 96 is the structure and function notes that we took in class. Page 97 was our cell project where we listed the item that was brought and how it represents the structure or function of that organelle. And on page 98 was the online cell exploration activity. On page 99 is the warm-up from December 10th about osmosis in the cell membrane. And on page 100 is the active and passive transport notes. On page 101, you have the compound light microscope notes. And then on page 102, the tips for making good microscope drawings. You could use Google Drawings to do that, but this is just tips of how to draw things under the microscope. And then on page 103, we have the microscope lab. 105 will be the gummy experiment, looking at osmosis through gummy bears. And then lastly, our study guide will go on page 105. So if you're missing any of these things, check the daily agendas to get copies to print them out, or check the absent file. Remember, you're responsible for making sure everything's filled in and making sure your ISN's ready to go.